Oh my gosh! I'm so happy to be here.
Hi. So welcome.
Are we? So, okay, let me take my mask off since we're socially distanced. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, but it was really important for me to come in here and spend just a few minutes with you before we go out on stage, okay? So, listen, I know the bond that the three of you have because I happen to be a twin. So, I know that you're here to really spend all of your energy and your love focused on Lindsay.
That's true. Yeah.
Because this is really going to be a very pivotal day for her. And I want you to know that you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Because the profound love and devotion you have for her equals the faith I have in Philip.
Yeah.
So when you go out there, I want you to really, really be focused on that love and that devotion you have for her. So all of you, use this time wisely, please. Just listen to everything he says. Think about her future. This is your chance to go out there and save her life. Use that bond that you have lived with your entire life. Actually, before you were ever born. We both know it was, we all know, it was formed before you were ever born. So count on that and listen to what he has to say. It'll go by so quickly. And I don't want you to go home with any regret. Don't go home and live with regret that you didn't do what you could have done, you didn't say what you could have said, because that regret will just keep you up all night, every night, and you don't want that. Give her the life she deserves, the life she must have to be happy.
I wish we could hug you.
I wish we could hug too. I wish we could hug too, for a lot of reasons. Most of all, I know how important this time is.
Robin,
don't go home and live with regret. Don't live with regret. It'll keep you up all night, and you don't want that, okay? So let's put our mask on.
I agree, she deserves the best.
She does deserve it.
She does.
All right, so I'm gonna walk you out there. We'll give you to the man who's gonna help you do what you need to do.
Thank the Lord.
Who's ready to sleep like a baby tonight? All right, we're gonna stay socially distanced, but follow me. Okay, and I'm gonna be really rooting you on.
Okay, thank you, Robin.
Okay,
Thank you.
follow me.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, three beautiful triplets
We're extremely close.
torn apart
They loved Brandon when they first met him.
by a boyfriend.
Lindsay learned that her boyfriend was hiding a secret life.
Brandon has a sexual addiction. He likes being used physically by women.
Physical pain is really what turns me on.
Kick him in the groin, stand on his face, stand on his throat. So you've been willing to inflict pain on him at his request. You actually paid the woman to run over you with a car.
Yes, sir.
He paid her thousands of dollars.
I laid down as she was backing out.
I think it's just crazy.
But have we ever done it?
No, because I know boundaries, and I'm not gonna run you over.
You're a fool. Y'all hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I'm glad somebody else is saying it.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
I know there are many people out there who are really into designer shoes. So much so that they have them neatly tucked away in a walk-in closet, lined up and organized. Believe me, I can't tell a Mew Mew from a Jimmy Choo Choo, but I get it to a certain degree because my wife, Robin, loves her designer shoes. Now, my guest, Lindsay, says she takes immaculate care of her shoes and immediately noticed when one of her Christian Louboutin heels went missing. Now, she had a sneaking suspicion that the person who took her designer shoe was her long-term boyfriend, Brandon. So, when Lindsay's shoe was suddenly returned, but damaged, she says she confronted him and was stunned to hear the truth. That's when she sent me this video.
Brandon and I met on a dating site, and we've been together for almost 2 years now. I just recently found out that Brandon has been cheating on me for our entire relationship. He has a sexual addiction. He likes being used physically by women. He likes to be stepped on. He likes to be walked on. Anything that causes him pain, he enjoys. He'll buy women shoes, pay their car payment, pay their rent. I have chosen to stay with Brandon. I don't feel like he is a bad guy. I just feel like he needs help.
Well, Lindsay, who you all know is a triplet, obviously has two sisters. It's Jessica and Kelly. They say this toxic relationship needs to end for both Lindsay's sake and so it won't get in the way of their triplet bond any longer or any more than it already does. Take a look.
Jessica and Kelly are my sisters. We're triplets. We're extremely close.
My sisters and I are not only triplets, but we were born from the same egg.
For people that aren't a twin or a triplet, they may not understand, but I feel like a triplet bond is different.
We're best friends.
Yeah, we're best friends. The three of us are the only family that each other has. Jessica and Kelly loved Brandon when they first met him. Things were perfect. After a few months, Brandon moved in with me.
Jessica and I are both happily married to great men, and we just want the same for her.
Lindsay and Brandon were always happy and always laughing, but all that changed about a year ago. I was cleaning out the garage with Jessica and I found a bunch of shoes. I asked Brandon where they came from and he said that they were his ex's. After that, I found a video of a woman.
In the video, Brandon brought out my dad's old records.
She was taking records and breaking them with the shoes that I had just found in the garage.
All this is going on with my dad's dying of cancer.
I was hysterical.
You think he's on the straight and narrow when he's not. For 2 years, I had no idea he was doing this stuff, and now, like, I think he's cheating on me all the time.
Lindsay did show me another one of the videos. It's him and a girl out in the middle of the woods, and this girl's like stepping on his chest.
When I found out the things about Brandon, I told my sister that he was no longer allowed to be in my house. I was instantly disgusted. Brandon wants the best of both worlds. He wants a romantic and sensual relationship with me, and he wants to have women on the side to fulfill these urges that he has.
We went to couples therapy, like, for a few months, but he's still doing the same thing.
I do feel that Lindsay should just move on in her relationship, and that involves leaving Brandon. I love that Jessica and Kelly are protected with me, but I've made a choice and I've made a decision to stay with Brandon, and I feel like they need to respect that.
Oh, my Lord.
Take your seats right here.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Phil.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right, have a seat. Okay, so I know the two of you are very concerned about what's going on with your sister, right?
Absolutely.
And we have some items here. These aren't just props to dress up the set.
Yeah.
These, Lindsay, are your items, right? These are your shoes.
Yeah.
And this is your designer purse and your designer shoes. And Brandon removed these from your closet.
Yeah.
And had a girl damage these.
Yeah, that's correct.
He bought them for you, right?
He bought the shoes for me.
He bought, and then stole one back, took it out, and had another girl damage it. And he says that's part of his fetish.
He had a woman damage the bag, and he had someone he was talking to on a website. He was basically daring him to, you know, would you ruin my girlfriend's heels? And he ruined the heels. He had a girl ruin the bag.
Yeah, he had a girl on the bag. It was a burn mark, right?
Correct, yes.
And what was his explanation for this? You noticed this pretty quickly, right?
I noticed it immediately. I noticed my bag was missing, and Brandon miraculously was the one to find it. And so I had thought maybe I set it down at a Mexican restaurant, grease got on it. He didn't say a word. And then I found out a little over a year later that he had some girl light it on fire and burn it.
When you found out about that, what did he say? And you've done some things to try to please Brandon that were outside your comfort zone.
Stand full weight on his face, kick him in the face, of course, kick him, you know.
And later, you say that you don't like talking to Lindsay's sisters. Why not?
It's hard to face what you've done. I don't like facing the reality of what this is.
What was his explanation for taking your items that you value and doing destruction to them?
He didn't have an explanation. I mean, I found out a year later, and after that, I'd already known everything. So he didn't have a good reasoning. He just said that, I mean, it was something that he thought of course. He chose to take my item, but he didn't have a good reasoning. He just thought it would be a good idea, I guess.
All right. So, look, Kelly, what do you think about this? What's your take on this?
I think it's crazy. I've never been around something like this. I don't know anything like this in my personal life. So when she called me and told me about all this, I mean, you hate to think she's lying. Brandon's such a great guy. He's so nice, but, you know, until she showed me the stuff, that's when I believed it. I think it's just crazy.
And you said he's such a great guy. And Jessica, you say everybody loved Brandon at first, right?
Absolutely.
So at first, it was like, wow, what a great guy. He's a good personality.
Yeah, we were all excited. I mean, we were very excited.
Yeah, you thought, this guy's a real deal. He's a candidate. He's a catch.
She has been through the worst ex-boyfriends, and we're both married. So for her to come up with this guy, this is the man she's going to marry. We're all happy. For her, too, for her personally.
Yeah, so everybody was doing the happy dance. This is the guy. You know,
Yeah.
we found a real deal guy.
Yes.
Okay, and then when you two found out, because what we're talking about here, listen, different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
If somebody's into fetish or whatever, I'm not going to judge that. But you have to understand that there are boundaries to everything that get into personal and relationship dignity.
Absolutely.
And a fetish is one thing for someone to embrace, but then when they start violating the rights of others, then that's something different. And when the fetish goes outside the relationship, when he starts violating your space, your possessions, your trust, your just really confidence, and starts lying to you, that's not fetish behavior. That's a different set of behaviors, okay? So fetish is one thing, and you can decide whether you're okay with that or not, but that's one set of behaviors. But then there's another set of behaviors that are overlying this whole thing. So we're going to have to separate those two things. So let's decide that there's one category of behaviors that is sexual behavior, fetish behavior. Then there's another set of behaviors that you have to consider: is this sociopathic? Is this pathological lying? Is this exploitation? Is this abuse? And that is not something that you can sweep under the rug as a fetish, or just decide that, no, you know, it's a quirk. What do you think about what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Brandon told me, you know, in the beginning about this fetish. He said he had to go outside of the relationship to get what he needs because his girlfriends don't understand, you know, what he likes. So I was like, great, I do this with you. We have no issues. I never once thought, you know, he was cheating on me or doing any of this stuff behind my back. So, I mean, when I found out,
It's different, I think, when you think you're the only one and you're going out of your comfort zone to please your partner. And be open-minded and things like that. And if it's something you're willing to accept, then that's fine between the two of them. But then he goes and does it with other women, and that's disrespectful.
Well, and you've done some things to try to please Brandon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, what kinds of things has he asked you to do that you've been willing to do that were outside your comfort zone?
Stand full weight on his face, step on his throat full weight, kick him in the face, of course, kick him, you know.
Kick him in the groin, stand on his face, stand on his throat. So you've been willing to inflict pain on him at his request.
Yeah, because that's what he's asking for. And of course, I want to, you know, if this is what he likes, I'm going to try and please him. Like, I want to be with him, and, you know.
So he's taken a masochistic approach to this, saying, I need you to hurt me in order for me to feel alive.
Yes, exactly.
That's what he says to you. So
Well, not in those words, but yes.
yeah, I got you.
Yes.
That's what I say. I'm trying to
Yes.
be delicate here.
Yes.
And so you've actually done things that are very out of character for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you
I
wouldn't
mean,
ordinarily kick a date in the face.
no, when he first asked me to start walking on him, I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, what do you mean? And then, you know, like he kind of explained it, but it helped when, you know, when we first started dating, he actually came out to California. So I went through everything and I saw a video of him doing this with another woman. So then I kind of realized, okay, this is what Brandon likes. This is what he wants, obviously, or else, you know, he wouldn't be paying to do it. So then I just kind of went from there.
All right. Well, Brandon says that he doesn't want to talk to Lindsay's sisters, but I'm sorry, if he wants to get this out on the table, he's not going to isolate her and be able to control the narrative. She has a support system. They're part of who she is. And if he's going to talk to her, I'm going to be here, they're going to be here, and we're going to get this on the table. He can take that or leave it. That's completely up to him. We'll be right back.
I've never physically cheated on Lindsay with any of these women, but one time I was at a restaurant and after the waitress got off, I saw an opportunity to go lay underneath her car. She ran over my arm. Physical pain is really what turns me on.
Lindsay is the baby of the Triplet sisters. Jessica and I absolutely feel like we need to protect her. Brandon is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He will lay in bed with Lindsay when he was out with another woman the day before.
I'm very concerned for Lindsay's safety. I do feel that Brandon can take his sexual encounters with other women to the extreme. I'm concerned Brandon or Lindsay could get seriously hurt.
I get why Jessica and Kelly don't want me to be with Brandon. If they were in a relationship where their boyfriend was cheating on them, I wouldn't want them to be in that relationship either.
Well, Lindsay says she's learned about a year ago that her boyfriend Brandon was hiding a secret life from her for the first year and a half of their relationship. Now, she claims Brandon paid other women to dominate and demean him. Now, Brandon admits to having what he describes as odd sexual fixations, and he says it's been true since he can remember. But he says he loves Lindsay and believes they can work things out and actually get married and spend their lives together. Take a look.
I love Lindsay with all my heart. Lindsay's known about my sexual tendencies since the beginning of our relationship. Lindsay was willing to experiment with me with things that I had paid other women to do. At the time, she thought it was just between her and I. I've never physically cheated on Lindsay with any of these women, but in my own way, what I did was cheating. Physical pain is really what turns me on. It ranges from all things of being kicked, punched, slapped. Something about it just makes me feel alive. One time I was at a restaurant and after the waitress got off, we had had drinks, and as she was leaving, I saw an opportunity to go lay underneath her car as she was backing out, and she ran over my arm. It was definitely Since I was young, I've always been attracted to women's shoes. That's been a fetish of mine. I've probably spent over $5,000 this year on other women to purchase designer shoes. Just the fact that they're using my money to purchase these is exciting.
I have all these shoes Brandon buys for me. I feel like I have to keep tabs and know what I have and see where it's at, because Brandon ended up talking to some girl. He's suggesting, will you make me mess up my girlfriend's Christian Louboutin heels that I just bought for her? Of course, the woman's gonna say yes, he's paying them. So took a pair of my Christian Louboutin heels and ruined the bottoms of them and sent her money because she made him do that.
I don't do these things maliciously to hurt Lindsay. I do lie to her to keep things secret to avoid hurting her, which in turn hurts her worse. I truly, before all this, felt like a part of the family. Now my relationship with the triplets is extremely complicated. I want Lindsay to set boundaries with her sisters as it pertains to our relationship. I truly believe that there's a possibility to remedy this situation and develop new habits that don't direct me into self-sabotage.
Well, Brandon, I'm glad you're here. You say that you don't like talking to Lindsay's sisters. Why not?
It's not that I don't like talking to them. It's hard to face what you've done. It really is. It's especially in front of people that love you and that you love. So it's not that I don't want to talk to them. It's I don't like facing the reality of what this is.
Uh-huh. And what this is, what is this?
I'm here hoping you could help me find out, because I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know how to justify or make sense of it. I don't know why I like it. I don't know why it takes control.
Right.
And I don't know why that I continue hurting people.
You actually paid the woman to run over you with a car.
Yes, sir.
He's asked me to do it.
But have we ever done it?
No, because I know boundaries.
You say that you told Lindsay that you enjoyed having women physically demean you and use you for money, right?
Yes, sir.
And also to physically abuse you, inflict pain on you.
Yes, sir.
Correct? And you told her that from the very beginning, correct?
Not in full detail, no, sir.
Pardon me?
Not in full detail, no, sir.
Yeah. What was the first things that he told you, Lindsay? What'd you first understand?
I confronted him about a video that I saw. I said, have you ever paid women to do this? He said, yes.
And what was the video?
It was a video of a girl kicking him. And I said, and it was also a video of him giving her $600. And he said, what did you just get $600 for? And she said, kicking in the So I asked him, have you ever paid for this? He said, yes. And I said, you know, is this something that you like? He said, yes.
Okay. You actually paid the woman to run over you with a car, correct?
Yes, sir.
You paid her to run over your arm?
Not in direct terms, no. I laid down as she was backing out. I didn't physically give her money and say, this is what we're going to do in exchange for this or that. It was just an impulse.
So you had already paid her for something else?
We're just giving money away.
Oh, he paid her thousands of dollars.
Okay. And then she was backing out, so you just laid down and put your arm in front of the tire so she ran over your arm. Okay, and what was your immediate reaction to that?
That was a bad idea.
I mean, did you get a rush from it as well? Or was it all just bad idea?
Just bad idea from the get, but I don't even think about it.
He's asked me to do it. I mean,
Since-
if it's such a bad idea, why are you asking me to do it then?
But have we ever done it?
No, because I know boundaries. And I'm not going to run you over.
Okay.
But since that happened, he's asked you to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Lindsay sent us this video that she found of Brandon talking to camera while in the ER. Take a look.
Well, just got x-rays done in the ER. My arm is swollen there. Here, and my is definitely done. Is it? Sit down. Just wait. Here I am.
There you are.
Well, you look pretty happy there. I mean, you're pretty smug about it there, so...
Because I've already lied about what really happened.
Yeah. What did you tell him happened?
I said I got a notification on my vehicle that I had like a flat tire when I got out. I didn't put it in park or something like that. And when I leaned down to look at the tire, like it rolled and it rolled over my arm. It was the most ridiculous thing, but she had no...
have automatic.
She had no reason to question anything that I said.
Right. And when you put your arm under the tire and this woman that you've paid thousands of dollars to realized she had run over your arm, what did she say?
Nothing. She kept going.
Did she know she ran over your arm?
I believe so. Yeah.
So
Well,
she
so
didn't.
You sent her that video.
So she didn't stop and say, "Oh my God, what did you do? You put your arm under the tire?" She just kept going.
Just went home, I guess.
Okay. So tell me why this shoe instead of just some other shoe. Why the shoe that belonged to the woman you say you loved?
I don't know if it's a self-sabotaging thing. Push the limits to make it worse. If this isn't enough, why don't I try to do more? Why don't I try to go further? I don't understand why I feel the need to bring others into this dark world.
Yeah, well, I don't think this is nearly as complex as you make it out to be. But we'll talk about that when we come back. Lindsay gave my producing team more evidence of what she says is Brandon's secret behavior. But was she really in the dark about all these acts, or did she turn a blind eye? And if so, is it time for her to open her eyes really, really wide? And I'm going to try to unravel what seems like a ball of yarn here, but I don't think this is nearly as complex and puzzling as it's being made out to be. We're going to break this down, I think, very clearly into categories when we come back. He lies to you, cheats on you.
I agree.
I'm glad somebody else is saying it.
I think something is mentally wrong with Brandon. After my sister confronted Brandon about all of his lies, he just brushed it off and asked, when do you want to go out for like a weekend getaway? I don't know how he could say that.
When Brandon calls Lindsay crazy, it's literally like the pot calling the kettle black. Brandon is the crazy one.
I feel like this has to be an addiction because I don't think Brandon would do this to me intentionally.
If somebody said that I had a mental problem, I would say, possibly. I can't diagnose this or determine where it stems from. I'd say I need to go get my head checked.
Well, I'm not so sure that we're talking about a mental problem so much as we're talking about an integrity problem. We're back with Brandon and his girlfriend, Lindsay. Lindsay's sisters, Kelly and Jessica, say they can't trust Brandon anymore after they claim he has lied throughout most of his relationship with Lindsay, which is why I say there's certainly an integrity element here. Would you two agree with that?
I agree.
Absolutely.
And I say this seems like, he describes this as, this dark world and why I pull people into this dark world. Well, let's just turn a big bright light on over this dark world, because on the one hand, we're talking about fetish behavior. And like I say, I'm the least judgmental person I've ever met. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there are least judgmental people than me, but I just figure, people are entitled to do whatever they want to do as long as it doesn't hurt other people. But when you start victimizing other people with your proclivities, we've moved out of fetish behavior, which are practiced by millions of people, and start moving into sociopathic behavior of lying, cheating, stealing, exploiting, using, abusing other people. That's a whole different category of behavior that has nothing to do with fetish behavior. All people that have fetishes are not exploitive. All people that are exploitive don't practice fetishes. So they really have no relationship whatsoever. And so there's another category of behavior here. One, you have fetish behaviors, okay? And if that's okay with you, and you can wrap your head around that, then that would be between you as a couple. But we're talking about more than that, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the fact that he lies to you, cheats on you, takes money that would be part of your relationship going forward, gives it to other people that could be spent on your children's education, could be spent on your home, could be spent on you, could be spent on a number of things that he's going behind your back and lying and cheating about, that he's off doing what he considers to be intimate and sexual with another woman.
Yeah.
Now, if for him sexual is, pouring milk in a cup and throwing it up in the air, it doesn't matter. If for him that's what is sexual, and he does that with somebody other than you, and he wouldn't do that with you standing there,
That's an issue.
then that's cheating.
I agree. Absolutely, I agree.
Because if in his mind that's sexually arousing, and he wouldn't do that with you standing there, then that's cheating.
I
And if he
agree.
would do it with you standing there, then you're a fool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, y'all hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I'm glad somebody else is saying it.
It's just because it comes from your mouth, Dr. Phil, and not mine. It's different. But
Yeah.
we've told her this 100 times.
You took a woman to y'all's father's shop
When he's in the hospital dying of cancer.
and film her destroying his record collection. Brandon, how do you justify that? You took a woman to y'all's father's shop, correct?
Yes. When he's in the hospital dying of cancer.
Yeah, he's in the hospital fighting a terminal disease,
Yes.
and you take a woman to his business and film her destroying his record collection, correct?
Yes, sir.
Brandon, how do you justify that?
I can't justify it. I can't. It's selfish. I don't have any way to justify it. I don't have an excuse for it. I'm not gonna.
Okay, well then take me through the thought process. What did you say to her?
It's not about having a conversation. It's just more of a fact of here's money. This is what I want you to do, and there's not really any other question about it.
But she had to know what to do. Take me through the moment where you communicated to her what it is you wanted her to do.
I just had the records, and I told her that I wanted her to break them.
Your girlfriend, the woman you love's dying father, you went back and got his record collection and brought it out and said, okay, I want you to break all of this stuff while I watch. Okay, and did you become sexually aroused at that point?
Sexually aroused, no.
So what did you do?
I don't know. It is some type of rush or feeling that I get that it's like the further I push things into a level of, I don't know how to explain it. The worse it gets,
What did he do? He filmed it so he could watch it later, I guess.
I filmed everything.
How many times have you watched that video?
He didn't get a chance to because I found it the day later and I deleted everything off of his phone.
Here's a text message from Brandon to a woman about keying his car and being run over, of course. Brandon, can we trade the slap? She's going to slap him, and you run me over instead. I thought you said she didn't know anything about running you over.
I don't know is this the same person?
I don't know. You tell me how many people run over you.
I've discussed it with multiple people, but I've been ran over twice, actually.
One woman had agreed to do it, and the other one you just laid down, but one agreed to do it.
Yes, sir.
You got to also ask yourself who he's hanging around with
Oh, I know the woman.
and what kind of element he's bringing into your life through him. Because if they're saying, he's okay with that, what are they going to do next? And at what point is he likely to decide what kind of rush it would be to have somebody beat out of you?
He already wanted someone to key her vehicle, her truck.
Yeah.
He was going to pay someone to come key her car. So it's already getting into her. Or my dad's
Not to
record.
mention she knew where I lived, so I didn't feel safe at my own apartment anymore.
Lindsay sent us this video. She says she found where Brandon had an unnamed woman roll over Lindsay's designer shoe. The video stops right before her heel went under the wheel. Take a look.
Oh,
Well, but then you did continue on and run over it, correct?
Run over it there? No, sir.
So how did this damage happen?
On that video, that's not when it was ran over. It was ran over later, after probably 10, 15, 20 minutes, I don't know. But it wasn't on that video. They didn't
But
keep
it
going.
was run over.
Yes, sir.
By that woman in that car.
Yes, sir.
So he's destroying your stuff one step away from you.
Yeah.
Brandon has clearly had some troubles that began long before his relationship with Lindsay. And my question is, are you aware that he has a problem with boundaries? We'll talk about some of the excuses he uses to justify his behavior, at least to himself, when we come back. Now, Lindsay is still unsure whether she will stay in her relationship with her boyfriend Brandon or walk away forever. But unfortunately, we're out of time for today. So tune in tomorrow when Lindsay's sisters, Jessica and Kelly, finally get the opportunity to tell Lindsay and Brandon how they really feel about their relationship. And they have major concerns. Now, Brandon claims he wants help and is ready to change. But does he really mean it? One of Lindsay's friends says no, and she explains why she believes Brandon is a manipulator, pathological liar, and selfish person who used being a disabled Marine to get his way and cheat with over 50 women. Now, I know you thought you've heard it all, but believe it or not, there's even more to this story. You're going to want to be here tomorrow, same time, same place, to see what could possibly be left to unfold in this story.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, her triplet sisters say her boyfriend Brandon needs to go.
There's no way you can mend a relationship that's been this broken.
She needs to move on from him. She's wasting her time with him.
Strange fetishes.
How's y'all's sex life, if I can be so bold?
He makes it fun.
You say I stand on his face or I kick him in the groin. How is that fun for you?
At this point, I'm 2.5 years in. I would not know how to be in a normal relationship anymore.
That's tomorrow.
Well, I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. We'll be talking about this one tonight on Facebook. I get into some of the groups there and we chat about this. I know you'll have a lot to say. We'll also be on Twitter talking about it. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok as well, which we basically do just personal and for fun. Also, check out Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret, with special guests who include the co-founder and CEO of Cool House Ice Cream, Natasha Case, and fashion guru, Jonathan Adler. You don't want to miss those. They have a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Stay safe.